Walk onto any used car lot in America right now and you will see them. Parked in the back row, dusty, marked down twice, sitting there like they did something wrong. Meanwhile, 20 feet away, there's a line of buyers arguing over a 2021 pickup with a turbocharged engine, a 10-speed transmission, and a payment that would make your grandfather pass out. I have been turning wrenches for 22 years, and I am going to let you in on the secret that dealerships will never tell you. The trucks nobody wants right now are the ones you should be buying. 22 years. That is how long I have been under the hood of everything from brand new dealer loaners to trucks that looked like they survived a war and somehow kept running. In that time, I have watched the used truck market do something that still baffles me every single day. Buyers line up to overpay for badges and body styles, while genuinely bulletproof trucks sit on lots collecting bird droppings because they are not fashionable. I have put customers into trucks that cost them $4,000 and ran for another 150,000 miles without a single repair bill. I have watched those same customers drive past $600 a month new truck payments and laugh. Today I am counting down 7 dirt cheap pickup trucks that nobody is buying right now, and every single one of them will outlast a brand new truck off the showroom floor. I am saving the best for number 1 because in my professional opinion, it is the single most overlooked truck value in the entire used market. Nobody talks about it. I cannot figure out why. Let us get into it. Number 7. The Mazda B Series, 1994 to 2009. Imagine you walk onto a used car lot and see 2 trucks parked side by side. Same year, same engine, same frame, same transmission. Literally built in the same factory, by the same workers, on the same assembly line. One is priced at $6,800, the other is $4,200. The only difference between them is the badge on the tailgate. That is not a hypothetical. That is the Mazda B Series versus the Ford Ranger. And it happens on lots across this country every single week. I have seen it with my own eyes more times than I can count, and every time it happens, some buyer walks past the Mazda, pays extra for the Ranger, and never knows they just spent $2,000 on a logo. The B Series is mechanically identical to the Ranger. Same frame, same engines, same transmissions, same suspension geometry, same parts at every auto parts store from Maine to Hawaii. Mazda and Ford had a partnership that most buyers have completely forgotten about, and the result is a truck that gets penalized thousands of dollars at resale for no reason other than the name on the back. That penalty is your opportunity. Last spring, a young guy came into my shop with $4,500 in his pocket doing landscaping work on the side. He needed something that could haul a trailer without falling apart and still start reliably on a Monday morning. I pointed him toward a 2008 Mazda B2300 with 142,000 miles listed at $4,200. The dealer 2 miles down the road had a 2008 Ranger with 4,000 fewer miles for $6,800. I made him drive both back-to-back on the same roads. They felt identical because they are identical. He bought the Mazda and kept the difference. 14 months later, he has spent money on exactly 2 things: oil and 1 set of brake pads. The 2.3-liter Duratec 4-cylinder is one of the most reliably boring engines Ford ever produced. And I say boring like it is the highest compliment I know how to give. Timing chain. No turbo, no direct injection carbon buildup. Port fuel injection that has been proven across millions of vehicles for decades. I have personally seen these engines reach 280,000 miles on original internals with nothing but consistent oil changes. The 5-speed manual behind it is essentially indestructible. The 5-speed automatic is equally solid as long as the fluid was changed at least once in its lifetime. That is not a high bar. When you go look at one, check the rear frame rails behind the back wheels for rust, especially on trucks from northern states. Check the front control arm bushings because they wear and run about $250 to replace. If those 2 things check out, you just bought yourself a 25-year truck for less than a used jet ski. And you did it while the guy next to you paid extra for a Ford Oval. Number 6, the Dodge Dakota, 2000 to 2011. Dodge stopped making the Dakota in 2011. The market never forgave them. And the trucks that are left out there are selling for prices that would have been laughable 10 years ago, which means right now is the single best time to buy one. The Dakota was the in-between truck. bigger than a Ranger, smaller than an F-150. And in that sweet spot, Chrysler put engines that they engineered back when durability was a point of pride rather than a marketing slide. I want to talk specifically about the 4.7-liter PowerTech V8. This engine has a reputation problem it does not deserve. The early versions from 1999 to 2003 had some legitimate issues. Valve seat problems, cooling system sensitivity. I am not going to pretend those were not real. But from 2008 onward, Chrysler went back in, fixed the heads, improved the cooling, and added variable valve timing. The result is a V8 that makes 302 horsepower, tows 7,000 pounds, runs on regular fuel, and in my experience will go well past 200,000 miles when it is properly maintained. I had a contractor come in about a year ago with a 2007 Dakota with the 4.7. He had bought it 3 years earlier with 110,000 miles for $6,800. He was sitting at 187,000 miles and wanted a pre-road trip inspection before driving from here to California. I went through the whole truck. Compression within spec on all 8 cylinders. Frame clean, suspension tight. The original transmission was shifting like it had 30,000 miles on it. I told him to drive to California, stop for gas, and stop worrying. He did. Sent me a photo from the Pacific Coast Highway. That truck is still going. Here is the thing about the Dakota that nobody talks about. The bed. It is a full-size pickup bed. Not a short compact bed like you get on a Ranger or a Frontier. You can throw a full sheet of plywood in a Dakota without it hanging off the tailgate. That is not nothing. That is a real working truck feature that buyers completely overlook when they dismiss this truck. Current pricing on a 2008 through 2011 Dakota with the 4.7 and reasonable miles is between $6,000 and $10,000. A comparable year F-150 with the 5.4 Triton costs $4,000 more and has a known spark plug ejection problem I have been fixing every single month for 15 years. Every single month. If I never see another 5.4 Triton on my lift, it will be too soon. Inspection checklist. Check the upper ball joints. They wear out around 120,000 miles and run about $400 to replace. Check the rear differential fluid because Dakota owners almost never changed it. And listen carefully at the top of the engine. A mild valve train tick is normal on these. A loud hammering tick means someone ran it low on oil and it is time to walk away. Number 5. The Chevy S10 with the 4.3-liter Vortec, 1994 to 2004. I need you to believe what I am about to tell you. I keep one of these in my own driveway. A 1999 S10 extended cab with the 4.3 Vortec V6, 5-speed manual, 2-wheel drive. I bought it 11 years ago for $2,800 with 156,000 miles on it. It now has 241,000 miles. In 11 years, it has needed a fuel pump, a starter, and 1 set of spark plugs and wires. That is the complete list. I haul parts in it, I take it to the dump. I drove it to my daughter's soccer tournament last fall with a load of lawn chairs in the back, and it cruised at 65 the entire way without a complaint. It is the least exciting vehicle I own, and the one I trust the most completely. The 4.3 Vortec is not glamorous. It will not win any horsepower contests, and it will not turn heads in a parking lot. What it is a small block Chevy V8 with 2 cylinders removed. Same engineering philosophy, same proven internal architecture that General Motors developed in the 1950s and spent 60 years making essentially indestructible. Every independent shop in the country knows this engine without thinking about it. Parts are cheap and available everywhere. There is nothing mysterious or expensive about maintaining it. In the S10, the 4.3 makes 190 horsepower, pushing a truck that weighs 3,400 pounds. It tows 5,500 pounds without drama and returns 18 to 21 miles per gallon on the highway. Better fuel economy than several new trucks I see rolling into my lot every week. The 4L60E automatic is equally well understood. A rebuilt unit installed at any independent shop runs about $1,800. That is less than a single repair on a modern Ford 10-speed transmission. I keep repeating that because people keep buying modern 10-speed transmissions. A clean two-wheel drive S10 with the 4.3 is $3,500 to $7,000 right now. A comparable age Tacoma with the 3.4 is $12,000 to $18,000 in any condition. After 22 years, I will tell you this plainly. When both are properly maintained, these engines go the same distance. The S10 just costs you $10,000 less to prove it. Check the cab corners, rocker panels, and frame rails for rust. The one known issue is plastic intake manifold gaskets that can seep coolant around 150,000 miles. $400 fix. Completely predictable. If it has not been done, that is your negotiating leverage before you even make an offer. Number 4. The Ford Ranger 2.3 liter, 1998 to 2011. If I have recommended one truck to more first-time buyers than any other vehicle in my career, it is this one. The reason is straightforward. It is everywhere, it is cheap, and the 4-cylinder manual transmission versions are so underpriced right now it almost feels like something you should not be allowed to do. A nursing student came into my shop a couple of winters ago, broke, commuting 40 miles each way to her clinical rotations, and everyone in her life had told her to buy a Honda Civic. I told her to buy a Ranger. She looked at me like I had suggested she commute by horse. 2 weeks later, she came back with a 2009 Ford Ranger XL, regular cab, 2.3 liter, 5-speed manual, 2-wheel drive, 118,000 miles for $4,400. She has put 31,000 miles on it since then. Total repairs. 1 oil change. I want you to sit with that for just a moment. 1 oil change. On a truck that cost $4,400. I have customers who spend more than that annually on a vehicle they financed for 6 years. The 2.3 Duratec is mechanically related to engines used in the Ford Focus, the Mazda 3, and the Ford Fusion. It makes 143 horsepower, which sounds modest until you realize it is pushing a truck that weighs under 3,000 pounds and returns 27 miles per gallon on the highway. 27. That is better than most crossovers rolling off showroom floors today. Timing chain, port fuel injection, no turbo, no variable cam phasers waiting to fail at the worst possible moment, no direct injection carbon buildup. This engine was built in an era when Ford engineers were measured by how long something lasted rather than how good it looked on a marketing slide. The manual transmission versions are cheap for one reason. Nobody wants to row their own gears anymore. That is entirely your gain. Buy the manual. The clutch lasts 200,000 miles if you do not ride it, and replacement when it finally goes is $600 to $800 at any independent shop. Current pricing on a clean 2009 to 2011 Ranger XL with the 2.3 and the manual transmission is $5,000 to $9,000. That number still catches me off guard every time I look it up. Check the frame at the rear shackle hangers and around the spare tire mount for rust. Confirm the timing chain. Tensioner recall on early 2.3 engines was completed. If you see service records confirming that work, you are looking at a truck that will run 300,000 miles without asking you for much of anything. Number 3. The Nissan Frontier VQ40DE 2005 to 2021. RepairPal ranks this truck number 1 in reliability in the midsize truck segment. Number 1. Above the Tacoma, above the Ranger, above the Colorado. And it is selling for $10,000 to $12,000 less than the truck everyone assumes is more reliable. That is not a small price gap. That is an entire used car. You are essentially getting a free vehicle just by buying the one the market decided to ignore. A regular customer of mine, a retired guy, bought a 2014 Frontier SV with the 4-liter V6 4 years ago for $14,500 with 78,000 miles on it. He is now at 162,000 miles. Total repairs in 4 years, a set of brakes, regular oil changes, and 1 battery. He pulls a 4,000-pound camper every summer from Florida to Maine and back without a single mechanical concern. He told me once that the most stressful part of owning this truck is deciding where to stop for lunch. The truck itself never enters his mind. That is exactly what a truck is supposed to be. The VQ40DE is the engine that makes this possible. Naturally aspirated 4-liter V6, 261 horsepower, 281 pound-feet of torque, no turbo, no direct injection, no cylinder deactivation system deciding to malfunction at 80,000 miles. Timing chain, port fuel injection, aluminum block. This engine comes from Nissan's VQ family, the same family that powered the 350Z and the Pathfinder, and earned Ward's Auto 10 Best Engines, recognition 14 consecutive years in a row. 14. That is not a marketing coincidence. That is an engine someone built with actual conviction and refused to overcomplicate. I have personally seen multiple VQ40 engines exceed 300,000 miles on factory internals. I have a customer with a 2007 Frontier sitting at 347,000 miles right now. Original engine, original transmission. He is not doing anything extraordinary. He changes his oil every 5,000 miles and leaves the truck alone. That is genuinely the entire secret. The 5-speed automatic paired with this engine is not modern. It does not have paddle shifters or 10 speeds pretending to be efficient. What it has is 2 decades of refinement and a complete unwillingness to fail when the truck is asked to actually work. That combination is worth more than any spec sheet. Now, one thing you must check on second-generation Frontiers built between 2005 and 2010. Pull the transmission dipstick before you do anything else. There was a known issue where an internal radiator crack allowed coolant to mix with transmission fluid through the cooler line. Frontier owners call it the strawberry milkshake of death. Accurate name. If the fluid looks pink, milky, or like something with a whipped cream garnish, walk away without a word. On trucks from 2011 onward, Nissan redesigned the radiator, and this issue is rare. But always check. It takes 30 seconds and could save you a transmission. Also check the rear leaf springs for sag on trucks that worked hard, and inspect the frame rails for scaling or flaking rust on northern examples. Surface rust is normal. Structural rust is a conversation ender. Current pricing on a 2014 to 2016 Frontier SV with the V6 and under 100,000 miles is $14,000 to $19,000. A comparable Tacoma from the same years is $24,000 to $32,000. The truck ranked number 1 in its class for reliability costs $10,000 less than the truck everyone assumes is better. The market is not always rational. Right now, for anyone paying attention, that is an opportunity. Number 2, the Honda Ridgeline, 2017 to 2024. I am going to tell you right now that some of you are already annoyed. You are sitting there thinking, that is not a real truck. It is a minivan that lost a bet. I understand that reaction. I used to hear it in my shop about once a week, usually from guys who had just dropped $3,000 on their very real truck's very real transmission. Then I would walk them outside and point at my technician's personal vehicle. A 2017 Ridgeline RTL with 187,000 miles on it that he bought with 62,000 miles for $24,000 in 2020. In that time, he has spent $2,400 total on repairs. Full brake job, new tires, and a power steering pump at 160,000 miles. Everything else has been oil changes and cabin filters. When I tell truck guys that number and let it sit there for a second, the annoyance usually goes very quiet. Funny how that works. The 3.5-liter J-Series V6 is from the same engine family as the Honda Pilot, the Passport, and the Acura MDX. Honda has been building and refining this architecture since 1998, 27 years of continuous development. In the Ridgeline, it makes 280 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. But the detail that actually matters at high mileage is this. It combines port and direct fuel injection together. That means the efficiency of direct injection without the carbon buildup problems that destroy purely direct injected engines over time. Most buyers will never know that decision was made. They will absolutely feel the difference at 150,000 miles when their Ridgeline is still running clean and someone else is paying $1,800 for an intake walnut blasting service on their European SUV. Both transmissions used across the generation are conventional torque converter automatics. 6-speed through 2020, 9-speed from 2021 onward. No CVT, no dual clutch. Just traditional engineering Honda has been perfecting since before some of my younger customers were born. The unibody construction is what truck culture mocks and what mechanics quietly appreciate. Stiffer structure means fewer rattles as the miles pile up. Independent rear suspension means the bed stays level over rough ground. And the completely flat bed floor means a 4x8 sheet of plywood lays fully flat. I have watched Tacoma owners attempt that. The wheel wells disagree every time. Then there is the in-bed trunk. Lockable, waterproof, drainable storage built directly into the bed floor. Fill it with ice at the tailgate. Lock your tools in it in a parking lot. No other truck does this. It sounds like a gimmick right up until you have owned one for 90 days. After that, you cannot explain why every truck does not have one. Pricing on a 2019 Ridgeline RTL with 65,000 miles is $22,000 to $26,000. A comparable Tacoma TRD off-road is $31,000 to $36,000. $10,000 more for a truck most buyers never take off pavement. The one real weakness is resale. It depreciates faster than the Tacoma. If you are flipping it in 3 years, buy the Tacoma. If you're driving it for 10 years, that depreciation is someone else's loss handed directly to you. Before you buy, confirm any fuel pump recalls on 2017 and 2018 models were completed. Test the all-wheel drive on a wet surface and feel for even pull across all 4 wheels. Check the tailgate and rear bumper paint on white and silver models for bubbling near the edges. And open the in-bed trunk first thing. Clean and dry means the previous owner cared. Standing water and decomposing leaves means they never opened it once. And people who never open that never open the maintenance manual either. Number 1. The first generation Toyota Tacoma, 1995 to 2004. Everyone knows the Tacoma is reliable. Second gen. Third gen. The truck that holds its value like it is bolted to a vault. Tacoma forums. Tacoma communities. Tacoma owners who will tell you about their Tacoma unprompted at a barbecue. I get it. The truck earned that reputation honestly, but nobody talks about the first generation. And that is the single biggest mistake in used truck buying right now. The first gen ran from 1995 to 2004. It was built before Tacoma became a cultural institution. No modern styling, no off-road packages that truck culture romanticizes. So buyers walk right past it. Dealers cannot get asking price. And it is sitting on lots right now for prices that make no sense given what is underneath the sheet metal. 3 years ago, a retired pipe fitter named Gary came in to have me inspect a 2002 Tacoma Pre-Runner. 3.4-liter V6, 112,000 miles, seller asking $9,800. Gary had owned trucks his whole life and had the look of a man who has been lied to before. He thought it was too much money for a truck that old. He almost did not come in at all. I put it on the lift and went through every inch. Frame clean. 3.4 running strong. 0 leaks. Transmission shifting perfectly. I walked back out and told him straight. Buy this truck. You have got 150,000 miles ahead of you. Probably more. He bought it. Drove it to the Colorado Rockies and back without a hiccup. Last I heard he is at 174,000 miles. Brakes, tires, and 1 oxygen sensor. That is the whole list. The 5VZFE 3.4-liter V6 is one of the greatest truck engines Toyota ever built, and almost nobody under 40 knows its name. Naturally aspirated, port injected, no turbo, no direct injection, no variable cam phasers deciding to retire at 90,000 miles. It uses a timing belt, and I know that word makes some people nervous, so let me be direct. Replace it every 90,000 miles. That job costs $400 to $600 at an independent shop. Do that, change your oil, and this engine will outlast relationships, mortgages, and possibly your interest in trucks entirely. I have a customer with a 2001 4x4 at 293,000 miles. Original engine, 2 timing belt replacements. That is genuinely all he has done. One honest concern. Frames on the 2001 to 2004 models can rust badly in northern states. Get it on a lift before you buy. Scaling or flaking frame rust is a reason to walk. Surface oxidation on an otherwise solid frame is just Tuesday. Current pricing on a first gen with the 3.4 and under 150,000 miles is $9,000 to $16,000. A second gen Tacoma with similar miles is $20,000 to $28,000 more. Same reliability, DNA, $20,000 cheaper. The first gen is not worse, it is just older, and right now, that is your advantage. So there it is. 7 trucks the market forgot about, but mechanics did not. The Mazda B Series, which is a Ford Ranger wearing a disguise and selling for thousands less because of it. The Dodge Dakota with a V8 that the late production years turned into something genuinely impressive and that nobody is buying because they stopped making it. The Chevy S10 with the 4.3 Vortec, the engine that I personally drive every week and have for 11 years without a single serious repair. The Ford Ranger 2.3 in manual transmission form, the most underpriced used truck in America right now, and it is not close. The Nissan Frontier ranked number 1 in its segment for reliability and selling for $10,000 less than the truck everyone assumes is better. The Honda Ridgeline, the truck that truck guys mock right up until they see the maintenance records and then go very quiet. And the first generation Toyota Tacoma, the most overlooked Toyota ever built, sitting in plain sight while buyers walk past it chasing second-gen prices that stopped making sense 3 years ago. None of these trucks are going to make your neighbors jealous. None of them have a 12-inch touchscreen or a built-in air compressor or a frunk. What they have is something the modern truck industry has forgotten how to build on purpose. Mechanical simplicity that lasts at prices that reflect what the market thinks of them rather than what they are actually worth. Next time a salesman tries to put you in a turbocharged pickup with a 3-year warranty and a payment that makes your stomach hurt, you know what to do. Walk to the back of the lot, find one of these, get a pre-purchase inspection from an independent mechanic, and drive it until your grandkids try to talk you out of it. Like the video if it helped. Subscribe if you want more of this kind of straight talk every week. I am going to keep telling you what dealerships will not. Drive safe. Take care of your truck, and it will take care of you. I will see you in the